I always thought that my husband didn't love me. Every time he saw me, he was extremely cold, until one day, I heard his inner voice. What is my sweetie looking at? Is there anything that can't be shared with your baby here? She's looking at a handsome guy. I'm not sure. Let me take another look. She's really looking at one. Woo-woo. My sweetie doesn't love me anymore. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins, sweetie. Am I your favorite little baby? I was happily scrolling through 20 tricks to flirt with men that Douyin presented to me today. When I heard this voice, I instinctively looked at Gu Cheng. His gaze also landed on me. His eyes were cold and devoid of any emotion, as sharp as a knife. I immediately chickened out, not daring to look at him any longer, and immediately swallowed back the coquettish words I had just learned and was about to practice. The men on Douyin don't abide by male virtues. Humph! As soon as this voice fell, I saw him put on his clothes expressionlessly. My body stiffened slightly, and I looked at him in disbelief again. Our eyes met, and the voice in my ear sounded again. Hey, look at me, still looking, since my sweetie likes to look so much. How about I change my clothes again? Why does my sweetie's eyes reveal a kind of clear stupidity? I can't stand it. Even her stupidity is so cute. I was a bit confused. Where did this voice come from? I casually brought up a topic. Gu Cheng, my head hurts a bit. Could you please get the first aid kit for me? He raised his eyes indifferently, his hand stopping on buttoning the second button, revealing his collarbone. It was really hard to resist. I was just about to explain, but I found that he didn't seem to want to listen. He went out indifferently to get the medicine for me, and then handed me the water. There's nothing to do in the team tomorrow. I'm taking a day off, he said calmly, and then there was no more to it. I frowned. Why was he telling me this? Did he mean that he hoped I wouldn't come back tomorrow and not disturb him? No way. If I don't go home tomorrow, where should I go? Wander under the overpass? Sweetie, hurry up and say it. Say you want me to accompany you to see a doctor. I'm so worried that I can't even think about what to name our child. Woo-woo. Why are you so strong, sweetie? What if it's brain cancer? I can't live without you. How could I live if you died? Sweetie, you're so noisy. I couldn't help but shout out when I heard the endless voice in my ear. As soon as the words were out, he obviously froze for a second, then quickly returned to normal and casually said 3 words. Got it. After that, he walked out. I didn't mean to. Before I could explain, he had already closed the door. The inner voices outside were ringing like bullet comments. Does she think my breathing is disturbing her? My sweetie is being unreasonable. Forget it. I'll go back to the team and work overtime. No, my sweetie has a headache. What if it's brain cancer? How could I live if you died? Sweetie, I couldn't stand it anymore. I opened the door with a bang. Gu Cheng was smoking on the balcony. The windowsill was filled with smoke. His back was tall and slender, and an air of cold nobility emanated from him. I didn't dare to get closer. What do you want? He turned around, his voice cold and crisp. I stammered. Well, it's a bit windy on the balcony. It's a bit cold in the room. I was wondering if I could close the window. Sure. He extinguished the cigarette, but closed the window, turned around, and left without saying a single unnecessary word. I looked at the closed door, and the words that came to my mouth had to be swallowed back. I went back to the room and went to sleep on my own. In the middle of the night, Gu Cheng left. The sound of the door closing was so soft that I didn't even hear it. My marriage to Gu Cheng was purely an accident. On the day of our engagement, I saw my scumbag boyfriend cheating on me. Then I saw Gu Cheng at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I had met him before at the Public Security University, and I was from Qingde University next to it. I quickly grabbed him and asked, shouldn't we turn to the police when we're in trouble? Theoretically, yes. He thought for a moment and replied to me. I grabbed him and walked straight into the Civil Affairs Bureau. Then you marry me. His eyes froze slightly. But I'm a SWAT officer. The civilian police are over there. I frowned and said directly, I don't want any betrothal gifts. I just want you. After marriage, we won't interfere with each other. You can do whatever you want. Will you marry me or not? If not, I'll find someone else. Okay. Let's get married. Because of these words. We got married. Until now, my parents still don't know that I've already got the marriage certificate. The fact that I can hear his inner voice is really strange, so I decided to figure it out by bringing him food the next day. When it was time for lunch, I threw away the takeout packaging bag and then put the food into a lunchbox. It smelled really good. If I put it in myself equals I made it myself. What I made is really delicious. It smells so good. I carried the lunchbox and drove there. Sitting in the car, I raised my eyes and saw Gu Cheng walking out with a group of his colleagues from the police station. Brother Cheng, will sister-in-law bring you food at noon? It's been 2 months since you got the marriage certificate, and we still haven't met her yet. Xiao Xiao looked at him with a smile, and the two people behind him also had a gossipy look. After that, another person next to them said, "The girl that Captain Cheng has been secretly in love with for 5 or 6 years has occupied his entire college youth. He finally caught up with her. When will the wedding be held?" I was confused when I heard this in the car. Secret love? What's that about? Who has a crush on me? Gu Cheng stood by the roadside waiting for the traffic light and replied indifferently, "It's cold, and her health isn't good. I didn't ask her to bring the food. Ha ha ha. It's so cold in the middle of winter. How could I bear to let my baby bring me food? You single dogs don't understand at all. My baby said her head hurt yesterday. Did she go to the hospital? I should send her a message and ask." I frowned in the car. I had said I would bring him food before, but he said he was short on time and it was more convenient to eat outside, so the plan failed. Then, my phone rang. "Gu Cheng, I made an appointment with a specialist. I'll accompany you to see a doctor for your head in the afternoon." After that, he sent me the appointment number. Looking at these words, I felt something was wrong no matter how I read them. I saw that Gu Cheng was about to walk away. Without thinking too much, I immediately pushed open the car door and chased after him. Gu Cheng, as soon as I called out, he instinctively turned around. When he saw it was me, his eyes were stunned for a moment. "What are you doing here?" He frowned, and there was no sign of joy in his eyes. "It's -3 degrees outside. She's only wearing a sweater and a coat. If she gets sick, it will be me who feels sad, my little baby. I won't interfere with your freedom to dress. But don't show your legs in -3 degrees weather either. Hello, sister-in-law." They all greeted me in unison. My face turned red instantly. I shyly took out the food and said, "I made it myself. Try it. Thank you for your hard work." He took the lunchbox and replied in a very official way. However, in his heart, he was thinking, my sweetie brought me food. I'll make you single dogs jealous. I'm so looking forward to it. Let's open it and take a look." No, I should be more reserved. But I can't help it. I'll hold on a bit longer. A boy should learn to be reserved. The others waved goodbye to Gu Cheng and then went to have lunch. Gu Cheng took me to his office. I watched him open the lunchbox expressionlessly and then eat without any emotion. "Did you make it yourself?" He raised his handsome eyebrows slightly after taking a bite and asked me. I nodded guiltily, but my tone was full of confidence. "Yes, not bad," he said indifferently. "Why does the food my sweetie made herself taste exactly the same as that from the Sichuan restaurant we often go to? It's so strange. I can't figure it out." "By the way, you said in the WeChat message that you made an appointment with a specialist for me. How about I go by myself this afternoon? You're also busy. I'll give you the examination results after I'm done," I said considerately. He would definitely be touched to have such an undemanding sweetie like me. His hand holding the chopsticks paused. And then he continued to eat as if nothing had happened. "Okay, woo-woo. You don't want me to accompany you? Humph, is your heart made of steel? I specially made an appointment with a specialist for you, but you don't even want me to go with you. Woman, you have such a cruel heart. Let's break up for 10 minutes. 3 minutes have passed. I can't hold on anymore. Forget it. I can't hold on. Let's make up." I'm now sure that I can indeed hear his inner voice, but I think if I tell him about this, he will be so embarrassed. It's like when you secretly write a diary and your parents find out. Well, I found that my head hurts a bit again. I'm leaving now. After saying that, seeing that he didn't say anything, I turned around and left. In the afternoon, I arrived at the hospital gate according to the appointed time. Before I went in, an unpleasant voice came from behind me. Yo, it really is a small world. We meet again. I didn't even need to turn around to know who it was. It was the mistress of that cheating scumbag. I wasn't going to show weakness either. I turned around and looked at her with a big belly and sneered coldly. I was wondering who it was. Turns out it's someone who picks up trash. Who are you calling trash? Xingyi stood in front of that bitch, looking very manly. Jianglin, you should have some idea why I cheated on you. Do you know why you can't keep a man's heart? It's because you're not as gentle as you were. I've criticized you more than once before. But instead of reflecting on yourself and correcting your mistakes, you come here to stir up trouble. You're 27 years old. I don't think you can find another man. I'm sure you're more panicked than anyone else inside since I left. Do you think I'll change my mind if you keep waiting? Stop daydreaming. What are you barking about? I looked at him in shock. I'm already married. You don't know that, do you? Waiting for you to change your mind. Who cares? We just broke up 2 months ago. You didn't even have time to find a boyfriend. Where did you get a husband from? Stop pretending. Besides, with an excellent ex-boyfriend like me, I'm afraid you won't be able to tolerate other men in your eyes in the future. Do you think I would wait until we broke up to find someone else? Can't I look for a new partner while still in the relationship? After I said this, I watched as his expression turned all sorts of colors, like a 5-color palette. He didn't say anything, and the mistress got anxious and shouted, I think you're crazy about men and just made one up. Hey, don't believe it. Your grandpa here now. I was just about to curse, but when I saw that tall and straight figure approaching me in the distance, I swallowed back my words. Then I took a deep breath, pinched myself, and forced out some tears. I looked at them with teary eyes. Sister, I just came here to see a doctor today. I didn't expect to meet you here. If you don't want to see me, I'll leave. I'll leave right away. After saying that, I turned around and pretended to leave, squeezing out 2 more tears from the corner of my eyes. I looked so pitiful. What's wrong? Guqing walked over and grabbed my wrist. Looking at the situation, he could probably guess what had happened. There was a hint of coldness hidden in his calm eyes. Seeing that my plan had succeeded, I leaned into his arms and sobbed softly. Husband, sister said that she owns this hospital and told me to get out. I just didn't know she would come to see a doctor today. If I had known sister was here, I wouldn't have come. I started to sob. I thought my acting skills were excellent, but Guqing's inner voice was, my sweetie is so good at acting like a spoiled and scheming woman. Those 2 people opposite her are no match for her at all. But my sweetie is hugging me. Thanks to the scumbag, the scumbag team gets a big bonus. I turned around and looked at him in shock, automatically ignoring the last inner voice. How did you figure it out? My acting wasn't that bad either. She's just pretending. Qingyu was intimidated by Guqing's imposing manner and pointed at me stutteringly. Guqing let go of my hand, stepped sideways to block me, and his black eyes were deep and cold. She's already in tears, and you're telling me she's pretending. Why don't you try pretending like this? She's really pretending. The mistress was so angry that she was incoherent. She just scolded me. She used really dirty words. We couldn't even curse her. It's true. I'll be a dog if I'm lying. The mistress was so angry that she was almost jumping up and down, but Guqing still looked at her coldly. He turned around, and his sharp gaze landed on Jinghe. You're the deputy team leader of the project team in Xingyin Group, right? You investigated me. Jinghe stepped back warily. Guqing sneered. You think too highly of yourself. What's there about a loser like you that's worth my investigation? I just happened to see your name when I was looking at my sweetie's information. You investigated me. I was shocked. I suddenly remembered something. So the document that his assistant gave him that day. which he was reading with great interest and even had a smile on his face, wasn't about someone else. It was about me. I thought he was reading about his first love back then. I had always thought that I was a substitute for his first love. Why did I think so? Because I caught a glimpse of the photo out of the corner of my eye. I looked very similar to the person in the photo, but that person definitely wasn't me. Now that I think about it, that person was probably me. The reason I didn't recognize it was that the photo was so well photoshopped that I didn't even recognize myself. I'll tell your boss, you can handle your resignation yourself tomorrow. Gu Cheng's words were light, but they carried a strong sense of oppression. Cheng Yi sneered. You think you can? He stopped mid-sentence when he saw the registration form in my hand. His eyes suddenly froze. Gu Cheng, the son of Gu Fangzhou, the chairman of the Gu Group, was also named Gu Cheng. What's your father's name? His voice involuntarily trembled. Gu Cheng looked back at him and glanced at him. What does it have to do with you? No, it has nothing to do with me. Although he tried to pretend to be calm, his voice still trembled. Gu Cheng didn't even give him a sideways glance. He lowered his eyes. The curve from his chin to his neck was cold, and the line of his Adam's apple was clear and sharp. If it has nothing to do with you, then get lost. Seeing Jingyi's cowering appearance, the mistress immediately became unhappy and stood out. My boyfriend is a key figure in the company. Who do you think you are? Before her words could fade away, Jingyi covered her mouth. Looking at Gu Cheng, he kept apologizing. Sorry, we'll leave right away. After that, I saw him scurry away in a flash. Although the mistress looked reluctant, she was still forcibly dragged away. I was a bit stunned. There were still 2 streaks of tears on my face. Wait, who exactly is his father? Is he really that powerful? Stop crying. Okay, his gaze was still cold and stern, but his voice involuntarily softened. I didn't reply to him. Instead, I listened carefully to his inner voice. Since I didn't move, he took out a tissue and wiped away my tears. Have you had your blood drawn yet? No, not yet, I replied mechanically. My mind pondering over his identity, he took my hand and coaxed me like a child. Then shall we go and do it? After we're done, I'll agree to anything you want. I still hadn't snapped out of the previous scene. Tears fell as if by inertia, and my voice still carried a sobbing tone. Okay, I listened carefully to his inner voice, trying to figure out something from it. My little cutie, don't cry. Don't cry. Although you look pretty when you cry, my sweetie, the people are already gone. How about we stop acting? Okay, still pretending. Sigh, forget it. Let me hug you. I'm the only one who spoils you like this. As soon as the words fell, the next second, I was embraced in a warm hug. His hand gently patted my back, clumsily yet tenderly. There, stop crying. It's not a big deal. I felt his heart beating powerfully, and my heart instantly fluttered. Mom, is this the feeling of being in love? I was so excited that I trembled all over. I thought Gu Cheng didn't notice, but his inner voice revealed everything. Wait. Why is she trembling all over? Is she really crying or just pretending? Should I take a peek? As soon as the words fell, I felt him lower his head and then take a glance. She's not crying. Then why is she trembling? Parkinson's disease. Sweetie, what should I do if you have Parkinson's disease? Sweetie, I stopped crying. Then I heard his cold voice from above. Since we're here, let's do a full-body checkup. By the way, my fists clenched. I said word by word, I don't have Parkin. Son, he lowered his eyes, his black eyes sharp, and his voice cold and deep. Who said you have it? I frowned. His straightforward tone made me think I had misheard. I instinctively apologized. Sorry, I might be hearing things. Just like that, he took me to do a full-body checkup, including a brain CT. He strongly insisted on a Parkinson's disease screening. Finally, the results showed that I was perfectly fine in every aspect. Gu Cheng held the examination report. Seeing that all my indicators were normal, I couldn't see any joy in his eyes, but a kind of worry. I didn't understand until I heard his inner voice. The current technology is still not mature enough. My sweetie clearly has a headache and convulsions. How could there be nothing wrong with her? So, It's like I'm supposed to be sick, right? After the checkup, Gucheng and I went home. He was going to work the next day, as usual. I applied a fake natural makeup look, put on my pajamas, and the water droplets in my hair dripped down my cheeks onto my clothes. The door opened. I saw his gaze clearly hesitate for a moment, and then his Adam's apple rolled slightly, and then, beep, he turned on the air conditioner, and the warm air blew in. I instantly felt less cold. I have to say, he's quite considerate. My fake natural makeup is really skillfully done, with this silk pajamas and this hazy makeup look. It would be quite amazing even on a global scale. He must be fascinated by me. However, the truth was not as I expected. His inner voice was, which episode of SpongeBob SquarePants have I watched? It seems to be the episode where Patrick Star and SpongeBob have a falling out. Whoa, why doesn't SpongeBob explain the misunderstanding to Patrick Star clearly? Unlike me and my sweetie, we don't have any misunderstandings at all. The corner of my mouth twitched. Yeah, there really aren't any misunderstandings at all. Wait. So you can even gain insights from watching SpongeBob SquarePants. Is this all you think about every day? All my efforts in applying the fake natural makeup for the past 2 months were in vain. I wasn't willing to give up. I sat up with a jerk. This movement naturally caught Gucheng's attention. He slowly sat up and looked at me with gentle eyes. What's wrong? I looked at his gaze as if he was going to eat me up. I shuddered and forced a smile. I'm just doing some stretching exercises. Gucheng, there was suspicion in his eyes as he looked at me, but he didn't say anything. He turned around and lay down with his back to me. Looking at him like this, I was filled with anger. After taking a deep breath, I put on a dejected look. Sigh, I have more and more pimples on my face, my skin is dull, and my dark circles and bags under my eyes are so obvious. What should I do in the future? I covered all of the above with concealer. Gucheng frowned, and his inner voice rang out. Is she hinting that I should take her for plastic surgery? Is it really necessary? But if I say no, will she think I'm stingy? His inner voice stopped for 2 seconds, and then he turned to look at me. Although you're not good looking, you have a kind heart. Get out. I pointed to the door. Go sleep outside. Gucheng sat up. His eyes were filled with confusion, but he didn't say anything more. He got up and left. The water of the Yellow River is like my tears. I said everything according to her wishes. Why is she angry? Forget it. I'll watch an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants before going to bed. Where was I? Oh, I was at the episode where SpongeBob and Patrick Star had a falling out. This episode is really touching. I put on earplugs. I think even if a celestial being came today, they couldn't soften his heart. The next morning, I was lying in bed. Gucheng had already gotten up and gone to work. Even with earplugs on, I couldn't fall asleep because of his inner voice last night. He was analyzing where SpongeBob was wrong one moment, and where Patrick Star was wrong the next. He was thinking about the specific measures to make them reconcile and how the guiding ideology of Marx could help SpongeBob and Patrick Star make up. That wasn't the most absurd part. The absurd thing was that he could even find arguments for this topic. I really admire him. I made you breakfast. It's cold outside. You don't need to bring lunch. I'll come back for dinner tonight. These words were concise. I didn't pay much attention. I had the breakfast and then went back to bed for a nap. But not long after I fell asleep, I felt a faint sound of footsteps coming from outside the room. I sat up and pushed the door open to see if he had come back. Gucheng, is that you? I walked to the kitchen, but didn't see anyone. Then a black shadow flashed behind me, and then I was hit hard on the back of my head. I fainted before I could see who was behind me clearly. When I woke up again, I was in a dark basement, in a blur. I seemed to see Jinghe's figure. Miss Lin, you're awake. A man with a scar across his face walked in. His expression was sinister both inside and out, especially his eyes. Just looking at his eyes, you could tell he was not a nice person. My gaze trembled slightly. There was a strong smell of blood in the air, and the dark environment was suffocating. Mr. Gu Jr., say hello to your sweetie. After the scarred man spoke, the video camera was pointed at me. Gucheng. When I saw the familiar face on the video, I instinctively called out. I don't know why, but as soon as I saw him, all my fear dissipated, and my heart instantly felt at ease. Gucheng lowered his eyes, his gaze cold, suppressing his anger. He said softly, "Just stay there and be a good girl. You'll be fine." After that, he looked at the man, and his eyes instantly changed. His tone became much colder. "I've already transferred 10 million. Why haven't you released her yet, Mr. Gu? You must have misheard. I just said 20 million. The man waved a knife in front of my face. To be honest, I was a bit scared. "Don't scare her. I'll have someone transfer the money to your account right away." Gucheng frowned, and his deep black eyes were filled with an unfathomable depth. I was shocked inside. Am I really worth that much? 20 million, Mr. Gu. You don't really think we're doing this just for the money, do you? The man sat down beside me and laughed coldly. "During the previous operation in the Western region, you gave me this scar on my face. How do you think we should settle this score? What do you want to do about it?" Gucheng's tone was very calm, and his eyes showed no sign of anger or joy. The man played with the knife in his hand and slowly opened his mouth. "I don't want anything else today. I just want you to watch as I cut her flesh off piece by piece with my own hands. How dare you?" This voice didn't come from the other end of the video, but from outside. The scarred man's face visibly panicked when he heard the voice outside. All his subordinates immediately became alert and took out their guns, pointing them downstairs. "Everyone inside, listen up, you're surrounded. Put down your weapons and release the hostage, and you can get lenient treatment." The voice of the police came from outside. The scarred man was furious and ran to the front of the video camera. "Damn it, I hid so secretly. How did you find this place? I was a scout. Your little tricks are so easy for me that I don't even need to think to find the clues." As soon as these words fell, the video suddenly cut off. The scarred man looked visibly panicked when he saw the black screen, and in my ear, Gucheng's inner voice started to ring out, "Sweetie, don't be afraid. I'm coming to save you with a QBU-88 sniper rifle. She already might have brain cancer and Parkinson's disease. Now she's being abused. What will happen to her if this goes on?" The scarred man suddenly grabbed my hair, forcefully dragged me to the window, and all his subordinates pointed their guns at me. "If any of you dare to act rashly, I'll kill her." I scanned the surroundings, but didn't see Gucheng's figure. I looked down and saw Xiaodu from the police station pick up the walkie-talkie. "Captain Gu, what should we do next? There are so many of them. You definitely can't take them all out with one shot. Don't act rashly for now." Gucheng frowned and adjusted the sniper scope in his hand. The scarred man quickly scanned the area. When he didn't see Gucheng, he was instantly enraged. "Where's Gucheng? Tell him to come and see me, or I'll kill her right now." There seemed to be a commotion among the police officers below. Xiaodu said something into the walkie-talkie and then nodded. Not long after, I saw Gucheng's figure in the crowd. "I'm here. Can you let her go now?" Gucheng dropped the gun in his hand and walked calmly into the camp. The scarred man gave a signal, and immediately 2 subordinates came up to search him. They didn't find any sharp weapons. Then they subdued Gucheng from behind. He didn't resist, but walked towards us calmly. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw his fingers seem to be moving. It was Morse code, and at the same time, his inner voice rang out, "The sniper is in position." After these words fell, Gucheng looked up at the glass in front of him and seemed to frown. "The other side also has a sniper. Don't act rashly for now. Gucheng, you actually fell into my hands." The scarred man punched him directly in the stomach. My heart skipped a beat, and I called out, my voice trembling at the end, "Gucheng, I'm fine." Gucheng's side face was hidden in the shadow, his eyelashes fluttering slightly. His voice didn't show the slightest fluctuation, as if that punch wasn't hitting him. I listened to Gucheng's inner voice. He was analyzing the surrounding terrain, thinking about how to get me out safely without any harm, without considering himself at all. Another punch. The scarred man hit him again without holding back. "Ugh," he groaned and spat out a mouthful of blood, his brows furrowing slightly. "If I'm not mistaken, Zhou Wei's sniper should be under that tree, and the direction is 3 o'clock. Sweetie's position is at 12 o'clock. If our sniper shoots, it will be very difficult to avoid hitting my sweetie. I must find a way to make her move aside. When I heard this, I tried to move a little, but the two men held me tightly, and I couldn't move at all. If you dare to move again, I'll shoot you dead. The scarred man seemed to notice my movement and slapped me directly across the face. A burning pain spread across my face. Guching looked up at the man. His voice was slightly deep. Alin, be a good girl and don't move, Joey. I'll remember this slap. As long as I'm not dead, you won't be able to live either. Even though he was angry inside, he didn't show any difference on the surface. Let her go, and I can ensure that you can safely reach abroad. Guching said word by word. This sentence undoubtedly tempted Joey. He swallowed hard. Okay, then you tell them to let me go, and I'll release your sweetie. A cold glint flashed in Gucheng's eyes. And he said calmly, they are the police. Their duty is to catch criminals, and they won't let you go. But if you come over, I can tell you my plan. Why should I trust you? You're a prisoner. What right do you have to make demands of me? There was caution in Joey's eyes, but more of it was fear. Hearing this, Gucheng let out a sneer. I'm a prisoner, but aren't you one too? There are a bunch of policemen outside. Do you think you can get away unscathed without my help? Do you believe that I'll kill her? Joey became angry from embarrassment and pointed the gun at me again. A dangerous glint flashed in Gucheng's eyes, but his tone remained calm. Go ahead and kill her. If she dies, I'll be all alone and I'll do anything. We'll die together. Upon hearing these words, Joey's eyes showed a moment of hesitation. Then, he seemed to have made a decision and slowly approached Gucheng step by step. Tell me. Come closer. Gucheng looked down at him haughtily, his eyes full of arrogance. Joey impatiently moved a little closer. However, the next second he got close, Gucheng suddenly broke free from the ropes, grabbed him with his backhand, and directly pushed him towards the stairs. Joey lost his balance and fell down. The policeman immediately rushed over and caught him, and the next second, I saw Gucheng pounce towards me, his fingers moving slightly. Direction at 3 o'clock, aim and shoot. The next second, I saw a bullet penetrate the glass. Then, a pungent smell of blood hit my nose. A drop of blood fell on my face. I looked up, and there seemed to be pain hidden in Gucheng's eyes. Although our sniper shot in time, the sniper that Joey had ambushed also reacted. He fired a shot before he died, and Gucheng took the bullet from me. Fortunately, it wasn't a military sniper rifle, so the lethality wasn't great. Are you okay? I looked at Gucheng, my voice trembling. Gucheng shook his head, and his face turned a bit pale. I'm fine. I supported him. He half leaned on the ground, and his sharp eyes looked at the group of subordinates holding guns. Joey has been arrested. Do you think you can still escape? When those people heard this, they looked extremely terrified. They were in a complete mess, like ants on a hot pan. Gucheng waved his hand, and a group of criminal policemen rushed up and subdued them all. Captain Gu! A group of people ran towards Gucheng. Gucheng looked at me, reached out, and wiped the tears from the corner of my eyes. I'm fine. With so many people here, is there no one with a pen and paper? How can I write a will? I'll leave billions to my sweetie. If I die, won't she go and find another man? Woo-woo. Using my money to support another man. I'll never be able to hold my head up even as a ghost. Gucheng, I grabbed his hand. Don't die. What will I do if you die? I don't want to be a widow. Gucheng's Adam's apple moved slightly, but he didn't say anything. You can remarry. Don't be a widow. Remember to burn some paper money for me then. Install a GPS on my grave. I'm afraid you won't be able to find it and go to the wrong grave, which will benefit those old men for nothing. I don't want to be buried in the martyrs' cemetery. I want to live in a detached villa. I don't want to fight for a place with those old men. Sigh. I don't have the strength anymore. I'll take a nap. If I don't die, I'll think about what to name our child when I wake up. Gucheng. I was crying so hard that I was out of breath. The moment Gucheng closed his eyes, I felt that everything around me suddenly went quiet. I couldn't hear anything. I only saw the doctors from the ambulance rushing down, then inserting an oxygen tube and carrying him onto the ambulance. I sat in front of the operating room. Looking at the 3 red characters in surgery in front of me, my heart ached with spasms. Sister-in-law, I heard that this incident is related to your ex-boyfriend. Xiaodu came over and said with a serious expression. My heart skipped a beat. What do you mean? Captain Gu investigated and found that Jinghe installed a bug in your phone, so he also knew the password of the house's combination lock and told that group of people. Which is why you were in danger. Captain Gu respected you. So he never checked your phone and didn't know that you were being monitored, Xiaodu explained word by word. When I heard this, I suddenly understood. So that's how it was. No wonder I saw Jingyi's figure at that time. Beep. The operating room lights suddenly turned green. The nurse came out. When I heard that Gu Qing was okay, I felt as if a huge burden had been lifted off my shoulders. The big stone in my heart finally fell. In the following days, I took care of him meticulously. But I didn't know why. Gu Qing's inner voice seemed to be very resistant. Was I not gentle enough? Baby, come on, take a sip of the soup. I gently brought the spoon to his mouth. Gu Qing's Adam's apple moved slightly. He looked at me. Just call me Gu Qing. Won't it seem too distant if I call you like that? I said. I heard that men can't resist women acting like this. Gu Qing blinked his eyes and stared straight at me. I guessed that he must be complimenting me, however. Why doesn't my sweetie have a big chest? It's so strange. Get lost. I punched him. Drink your soup and stop saying such useless things. Gu Qing looked innocent. I didn't say anything. I took a deep breath and stared at him intently. Then tell me, how's my figure? Why are you bringing this up? Gu Qing looked puzzled. Is it really that important? Just tell me if it's good or not. I puffed out my cheeks and sat down. Gu Qing thought for a moment and then said, I think having a kind heart is more important. You shouldn't care too much about your appearance. Great, he has a really high emotional quotient. He didn't mention anything related to my question at all. If you say anything about having a kind heart again, do you believe that I'll kill you? I tried my best to hold back my urge to strangle him. Gu Qing frowned. Isn't having a kind heart a good thing? Good my foot. Before I could finish my sentence, a familiar voice came from outside. Alin, how can you talk to your savior like that? Mom, I looked at the person coming in, very surprised. Why are you here? Ms. Zhao Fengxue directly passed me and walked straight towards Gu Qing, her tone affectionate. Your comrade Gu, right? We've read the reports. Thank you for saving my daughter. You're so busy with your work. I wonder if you have a girlfriend. Auntie can introduce someone to you. He already has a sweetie. I spoke for him directly. As soon as I said this, my mother's expression changed instantly. Then she forced a smile and said, It doesn't matter. When you have time, bring your sweetie out and we can have fun together. I don't want to have fun with you. I refused firmly. My mother turned around and gave me a look. Do you think I want to have fun with you? I could tell that she was very unhappy. She had finally found a son-in-law she was satisfied with, but it turned out that he was already taken. But my sweetie is your daughter. Gu Qing sat on the bed, his voice gentle. My mother was still immersed in the disappointment that the son-in-law she had chosen already had a sweetie. She nodded casually without paying much attention. Is that so? What a coincidence. What? My daughter. Which daughter? My daughter, you mean her? My mother directly pointed at me, her expression as surprised as if she had seen a primary school student score a goal in the World Cup. When did this happen? Why didn't I know? How did you get married? How did you meet? We met in university. At that time, she was setting up a stall selling grilled sausages. I saw that the wind was strong, so I bought the last 2. As a result, she gave me 2 counterfeit banknotes in change. Later, there was a joint event between our 2 universities, and we had some interactions. That's when we secretly decided to spend our lives together. Gu Qing explained everything in detail. My pupils shrank sharply. There was nothing wrong with the first part, but the later part, secretly deciding to spend our lives together, was a bit too weird, wasn't it? Also, I really didn't know about the counterfeit banknotes. Weren't you still dating Jinghe at that time? My mother looked at me in disbelief. I didn't know how to explain and looked at Gu Qing, begging for his help. He thought for a moment and then said indifferently, I was the backup. He said it calmly and then there was no more to it. Damn it. This was the first time I had seen someone describe being a backup in such a fresh and refined way. Also, what did he mean by backup? At that time, I just knew of his existence. There was no such thing as secretly deciding to spend our lives together. The corner of my mother's mouth twitched. She looked at me. You young people really know how to have fun. It's so nice to be young. Oh, right. Who is your father? I suddenly remembered Jingyi's reaction before. His father's identity should be quite remarkable. Guqing leaned against the bed, and his extremely cold voice slowly sounded. Gu Fangzhou, the chairman of Huarui Group. The chairman. I suspected that I had misheard, that Gu Fangzhou was a man who had been at the top of the rich list for years. How could he be Gu Qing's father? Let's hold a wedding. Gu Qing suddenly put away his phone, and the sincerity in his eyes was warm and undisguised. I lowered my eyes, unable to extricate myself from his amazing identity. So I had married into a wealthy family. Great, great. My mother clapped her hands happily. I think you two really look like a couple. I'll tell our relatives and friends about your wedding right away. After saying that, my mother ran out in high spirits. Guqing, I looked at him, my eyes burning with enthusiasm. He looked up at me. I like you, I said directly. Guqing's eyes froze for a moment, and then he lowered his eyes. Me too. He looked at me, and his extremely cold voice, with a clear minty flavor, gently fell into my ears. I blushed and looked outside. The wild grass was growing freely, and the room was getting a bit warmer. It seemed that spring had arrived. The end.